Hello, everypony. It's Fluttershy169 here, bringing to you Bittersweet Part 1. Originally from an anonpost, which contained elements from the Scrubs episode My Screw-Ups. Transcribed and continued by nukeiffum. So far, I've read about a page or so of the story, and it seems pretty good. I'm gonna let you all see what you think, so let's get started. Diabetes is a terrible thing. Rainbow Dash slammed through Pinkie Pie's window, knocking the cookie from her friend's mouth. Pinkie, you can't! You know what the doctor said. Just one more binge could kill you! Pinkie looked up at her friend, smiling with tears in her eyes. She gave a weak laugh. It's okay, Rainbow Dash. I'm not afraid. Rainbow Dash settled to the floor, blinking at the crunching noises beneath her hooves. She looked down in horror, and a look of horror spread across her face at all the crumbs. And it's not like one cookie would make much of a difference now anyways. Pinkie! What have you done? Rainbow Dash sped to turn the room apart, looking for that needle thing the doctor gave Pinkie. I already used that yesterday. It was torture, Rainbow Dash. Terrible. Can you imagine it? What if you suddenly weren't able to fly anymore? What if Applejack suddenly became lame? I couldn't help myself, Rainbow. It's gonna be okay, Pinkie. You're gonna be okay. We'll get you to the doctor. They can fix this. We can make you better. Pinkie looked at the floor, Mane hiding her eyes. Laughs started to sound more like sobs. Can you do me a favor, Dash? Can you hold me a bit? I keep laughing, but it's not working as well as it used to. Rainbow Dash took hold of Pinkie Pie. Don't worry, Pinkie Pie. I'll get you to a doctor as fast as I can. Just stop talking, okay? Save your strength. Please. Pinkie Pie let out a weak cough. Hey, Rainbow Dash? It was a truly beautiful day for a party. They'd spared no expenses this time, all the beautiful decorations covering the event. They held it outside, of course, and a surprising amount of people had come out for it. Dash could even see the balloons from here. Pinkie always had the best parties, and this was no exception. Dash usually sped into Pinkie Pie's parties with great enthusiasm, ready to play pranks on whatever unexpected ponies that happened to walk into them. However, today was different. Instead of gliding excitingly towards the party grounds, Dash proceeded in a slow trot. A tight knot wound itself in Rainbow Dash's stomach, making Dash feel slightly sick as she made her way towards the party. Thanks for coming, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie said, trotting alongside her friend as soon as she saw her. I know you didn't want to come, which is kind of weird since you always love to come to my parties, ready to play pranks on somebody like that hot sauce on the punch prank. I love that one. It's always so funny, and you're always so funny, Rainbow Dash. Even when you're kind of a grump like you are right now, which is fine, since any pony can be a grump sometimes, except for me, because if I was a grump, I wouldn't be able to throw these super fantastic, fabulous parties all the time. And look, Pinkie Pie said, bouncing in her steps, you got all dressed up. Rainbow Dash laughed to herself. She didn't like to get dressed up. It wasn't her kind of thing, but today she had done it for Pinkie. Yeah, well, I guess it's the least I can do for you. Pinkie just smiled in response, but very sudden her expression changed into one of worry. Listen, Dash, there's something I need you to do for me. Sure thing, Pinkie, Dash said as they stopped in place, surprised at Pinkie Pie's uncharacteristically mellow response. What do you need? I'll get it done super quick. You need to forgive yourself for what happened the other day. Pinkie tilted her neck down so she could look up at Dash, smiling at her sadly. Dash, you've always been my best friend, and I know you tried your hardest, so no more frowny frown faces, okay? Pinkie. Dash just laughed again in response, shaking her head from side to side in disbelief. You are so random. Yeah, yep, Pinkie said, still smiling. So, you'll try, for me? Yeah, fine. It was the only thing Dash could muster, smiling back, if only so it would shut her up. Unable to think of anything else they could say to each other, they simply stood there for a while, sharing a moment together. But before too long, it was interrupted by the sound of footsteps coming from behind them. Embarrassed to be caught up in such a way, Dash lifted her head back up, smiling at her best friend Pinkie Pie. So, aren't you gonna get started? On what? Twilight Sparkle's voice from somewhere close behind her. On the party. Dash turned around grinning. You know, chowing down, singing songs, playing pranks, bouncing around, making sure everybody has a good time. The whole routine. For a moment, Twilight looked at Dash with concern. Where do you think we are? Dash's smile faded as she looked at the purple pony. The way her mane was combed so neat today. The way she was all dressed up in formal wear, just like Dash was. Slowly, Rainbow Dash turned around to look at the party, at all the people who had gathered here today. The beautiful decorations all centered around a casket with 3 balloons tied to one of its handles. It truly was a beautiful day for a party. Only one thing was missing. Pinkie Pie was gone. Rainbow Dash was lounging around on a cloud, blankly staring into space. The funeral ended some time ago, and Dash fled the scene before any pony could see her cry. After all, she was Rainbow Dash, the toughest, fastest flyer in all of Equestria, and if any pony saw her cry, it would destroy her reputation. Rainbow Dash did what she could to hold back her tears during the funeral, but she was unable to stand it when they lowered Pinkie Pie's casket into the ground, causing her to hide away in her cloud ever since. You're so stupid, Rainbow Dash, the pony said, muttering to herself. You're Pinkie Pie's best friend. You should have caught her sickness before it got so bad. With all the sweets Pinkie Pie ate on a regular basis, it shouldn't have been a surprise to any pony that she contracted diabetes. Ponies usually could handle their sugar, and it seemed that Pinkie Pie quickly burned through all the sugar with her randomness. Pinkie and sweets together just seemed so normal. Just like Twilight Sparkle with her books or Fluttershy with her animals. No pony thought they needed to stage an intervention for Pinkie Pie. And it was the mindset that caused this tragedy to happen. By the time Rainbow Dash and the other ponies found Pinkie Pie had diabetes, it was already too late to heal the disease with magic. Pinkie had long passed the point where she could easily be cured, hiding her illness for the entire time to make sure no pony would worry about her. Rainbow Dash shook the thoughts of Pinkie Pie from her head. What's the point of worrying over what happened in the past anyway? What happens happens, right? It just totally wasn't her style to dwell in the past. She was Rainbow Dash, speeding forward into the Wonderbolts and into the future, not letting anything or any pony slow her down. Giving this pep talk to herself, Rainbow Dash sped out of her cloud and to do some exercise. If she spent all day moping around, her spot in the Wonderbolts would disappear. Dash flew up into the air over Equestria, reached her peak height, and then performed a nosedive straight into the ground. Come on, Rainbow Dash. Just like always, show Equestria who's the greatest flyer around here. She prepared her wings to maneuver around the clouds to spin them around, when suddenly an image of Pinkie Pie's frail smile came into her mind. I keep laughing, but it's not working as well as it used to. Dash shook her head to get rid of the voices in her head, but by the time she did it, she plunged headfirst into a cloud, breaking her momentum. Rainbow Dash tumbled clumsily out of the clouds and roughly planted her face into another cloud right below her. And another, and another. Before she knew it, she already hit the ground. Oh, what is wrong with me? Dash muttered, throwing herself back into the sky. If I can't pull off a simple maneuver like that, I will never get into the Wonderbolts. Frantically, Rainbow Dash flew through the sky again, attempting to skillfully weave around a row of clouds. Can you do me a favor, Dash? Can you hold me a bit? Rainbow Dash repeated the previous maneuver, crashing through a series of clouds before painfully landing on the ground. Ugh! Why can't I do this? Rainbow Dash cried out angrily. All right, one more time! She sped back into the air even higher than she did previously. The harsh wind stung her eyes. She was going to do it. She was going to perform the sonic rain boom. As soon as she hit the highest a pony could possibly go, she dived straight down toward Equestria. Rainbow Dash sped as fast as she could, pushing her wings to the absolute limit until she could finally feel the sound barrier giving way to her speed. Hey, Rainbow Dash, The sound barrier suddenly ricocheted Rainbow Dash away from the ground, launching her straight into the faraway clouds with its force. Darn it! Rainbow Dash hooved angrily at the clouds as she landed on. Why can't I do my normal tricks? Why can't I do the sonic rain boom anymore? Why? A steady stream of rain started falling down from the cloud she was on. Why did the party have to end, Pinkie?